All right, YouTube. As you can see from the topic that I put in the title, you know, let me check these standards with YouTube. This is for commentary, educational purposes, dialogue under the Fair Usage Act. But what's going on is an 80-year-old woman was attacked in her home in Detroit. And her husband was in a wheelchair, so he couldn't help her. And the young guy in his 20s, he R-worded the lady. You know what I mean? You can't say whatever, but he did some real foul stuff, right? So this was happening in the community. 80-year-old woman, right? You don't hear too many people talking about it, or why this is not national news, this level of brutality, this level of not caring and wantonness going on in the community. You know, you don't see no pastors talking about it. You don't see no imams talking about it. You don't see no ministers talking about it. You don't see them doing nothing but the same old pushing that collection plate down your throat like some real pimps. But Detroit New Era went to that community and been in that community policing it. And they will find the guy and they will, they will bring the streets to heal. I think them brothers should be supported because they're on the front line. If you don't see nobody walking in the streets like you see them in the streets, they're not on the front line. They sitting behind some pulpit or some roster telling you what to do, trying to get a few dollars out of you before Monday. You know what I'm saying? But they're not really doing nothing to help the community. For real. We're gonna talk. Let's look into this case.
Amy and Roop, it sure is. It doesn't really get much worse than this. Detroit police telling me if this man is going to sexually assault an 80-year-old woman at her own home, what will he do next? They are calling this a top priority right now, and adding to just the sadness of this situation, the woman's husband was there at the time when this happened, but he is handicapped and couldn't intervene.
It is a top priority right now. It's all hands on deck.
Head of Detroit Police Sex Crimes, Captain Rebecca McKay, says they're chasing every lead, trying to find the man who raped an 80-year-old woman at her own West Side Detroit home. Her husband, who is handicapped, unable to move inside when this happened.
Anyone who suffers from a sexual assault is going to be mentally injured. And it's going to take a long time.
Sunday night around 9 at the elderly couple's home off Memorial Street near 96 in the Southfield, the man entered through an open back door, demanding money and food, then a struggle.
The victim told him, no, we don't have any money, and started to push him out the door. He pulled her with him and to the outside where he sexually assaulted her.
After it was over, she called 911. The 80-year-old was injured from the sexual assault, but is expected to be okay physically. Family is staying with her now. The description investigators have to go on is vague, but there are a lot of home surveillance cameras in the area. They're processing to see if they can pick up this guy's movements. The captain says it's too early to tell if there is DNA evidence to help them find the suspect.
It's traumatic. It's traumatic not only for the officers who are investigating it, but for society as a whole.
At this point, they do not believe he had a gun on him. That's based on what the victim told police.
One thing that can be learned from this incident is that we just all need to stay vigilant and aware of our surroundings and keeping our doors and windows locked.
Absolutely. Locking those windows and doors, even when you're home. As we said there, investigators, they do have a vague description. We will pass it on only because if anybody was in the area of Memorial Street last night, they may recognize this guy. Police are looking for a black male in his 20s, about 5'8", with a slim build. If you know anything about what happened, call Detroit Police right away. Reporting live on Detroit's West Side, Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, just hopefully those Ring security cameras in the neighborhood will have captured something that will give us a much better description. It sounds like this person initially showed up to rob them. You said he demanded money and food.
Okay, I just found another one. I'm gonna see what they show me on here for fair usage. I think this says New Era Detroit. New Era Detroit on hunt for man who sexually assaulted an 80-year-old woman. Let's see what New
Seen
Era.
on the east side with the night cam, Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
Okay, Tim. The search is on tonight for a predator who sexually assaulted an 80-year-old woman during a home invasion. It happened around 9 Sunday night on Memorial Street near I-96 and the Southfield Freeway on Detroit's west side. Pamela Osborne is live from police headquarters with the latest on this investigation. Pam.
Well, Kimberly, this is a top priority for DPD as well as community members who say they simply will not stand for this.
This is a 911 situation, so for us, we
This
taking
is
this
New Era
extremely
Detroit.
serious. Any attack on women, children,
Walk through
or
the
elders
community.
in our
It's not your
community
pastor. It's not
is a no-go
your
for us.
mosque, you know what I mean?
24 hours
These
after an
brothers on the
80-year-old
block.
woman was sexually assaulted by an intruder who made his way into her Memorial Street
Look
home,
at the
You
brothers.
on down here? Yeah. Let me cut this car off.
a group of armed volunteers with New Era Detroit canvassed the neighborhood.
That's why it's so vital that, we do the best we possibly can to squeeze whoever did this out.
Detroit police say it
They say
started
they're gonna
as a
squeeze
home
them. They supposed
invasion.
to squeeze
It was
them.
about 9 o'clock Sunday night when the victim
80-year-old
discovered a
woman?
strange
Come on.
man in the home she shares with her husband. The man asked for money.
The victim told him, no, we don't have any money, and started to push him out the door. He pulled her with him and to the outside where he sexually assaulted her.
The woman was able to call for help, but the suspect got away.
To know that he molested an 80-year-old woman is very shocking.
Janiyah Hall lives on the other side of Memorial Street. She says she'll be locking her doors and keeping an extra eye out, which is exactly what police are advising residents in the area do.
One thing that can be learned from this incident is that we just all need to stay vigilant and aware of our surroundings.
Absolutely heartbreaking thinking about what it was that woman went through. We're told that she is traumatized, understandably, by what happened to her. Her husband was at home at the time all of this took place, but we're told.
Okay, enough of this because I know it's all traumatic to the public. But on this video, even if you really don't support me, support New Era Detroit. Support New Era Detroit and like and share this video so people can support them brothers because they are the ones that are moving through the hood trying to make you safe. And they're not asking you for nothing. They ain't got no collection plate. They ain't got no slick spiel to tell you or whatever. It's time for black people to get down to basics and get on code. What more do you need to see to not understand what's going on? So you should all support New Era Detroit. Support everything coming out of Detroit. We on the rise with the Renaissance because we got to get it together. It's so hard here that we can't even ignore the problems no more. Everybody, y'all got your Ring doorbells. Y'all know how to protect yourselves or whatever. I guess we at war with the streets. 80-year-old woman, we at war with the streets. So don't give them no refuge. Don't give them no quarter. Don't give them no air. You know what I mean? Be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Run on the ground, run on the hill, get the right type of politicians into this community as leaders. And until you can do that, supporting New Era Detroit is better than voting. It's a for sure thing. The brothers on the ground everywhere in Detroit. So that's a for sure thing. You want to do something, support them brothers. All right, peace out of Detroit. Keep your head on a swivel. You know what it is for real, don't y'all?